President Trump, welcome back to Meet the Press.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for being here to mark your first 100 days in office. It has been an incredibly busy 100 days. You've signed more than 140 executive orders. You've been focused on the border, the economy, foreign policy. What is your biggest goal in the next 100 days, which is about China? They've been making a number of public statements.
Very positive statements the last 24 hours.
Well, and most recently, they said before talks could happen, the U.S. would need to remove unilateral tariffs. Would you consider dropping the tariffs to get China to the negotiating table?
No. First of all, you're giving me a statement that was said a week ago. You're not giving the statement that was said today.
I have May 2nd Chinese Commerce Ministry.
Do you know what they said today?
The U.S. wants to negotiate. It should show sincerity by preparing to take actions in correcting its mistakes and canceling the unilateral tariffs.
First of all, they made numerous statements.
Yes, they've made numerous statements.
How many people speak for China? It's like 50.
They've made numerous statements.
I can give you a statement for any occasion.
Yes.
But they said today they want to talk. Look, China, and I don't like this. I'm not happy about this. China's getting killed right now. China, and I don't like this. I'm not happy about this. China's getting killed right now. They're getting absolutely destroyed. Their factories are closing. Their unemployment is going through the roof. I'm not looking to do that to China. Now, at the same time, I'm not looking to have China make hundreds of billions of dollars and build more ships and more army tanks and more airplanes.
Pay my wages. Pay my wages.
The developing trade war between the United States and China keeps ratcheting up.
The Chinese economy is not doing well.
China is digging in. Xi's saying that his nation is, quote unquote, not afraid.
This is a worker. This is from the production contract team. This is also a worker. This is the boss. This is also a big boss. Look at what is happening in China.
China's economy is in trouble because China's economy is a export-led economy.
The problem is nothing is moving from China right now, so nobody is shipping at this point.
The trade stalemate between the world's two largest economies could soon see a major shift. Beijing says it's now considering trade talks with Washington.
进厂做容易啊，要钱来了。
Here they come again, asking for money. China is currently on the brink of one of the biggest economic crises of the last century. The 145% tariffs advocated by U.S. President Donald Trump, combined with the deflationary environment in China, have caused things to spiral out of control in the country.
I don't want this to happen, but I know that China is doing very poorly right now. I just saw some reports coming out, and I don't want that to happen to China.
Chinese factories, which found billions of dollars worth of export markets closed overnight, are facing the risk of a major collapse. American companies are canceling millions of orders, and China is unable to fill the gap. More than 15 million Chinese workers could be affected by this move by the U.S. Beijing is facing a situation where the workforce is collapsing at a dizzying pace. Orders are being canceled, and factories are collectively filing for bankruptcy.
It's happening every minute.
Massive facilities that were swarming with foreign customers just yesterday have halted production and are now idle in empty hangars. The bill for this situation in China is being paid by workers and small-scale factory owners. To understand what has happened to the former global giant, we need to take a closer look at this issue. China with a slow-motion version of the 2008 crisis. Despite frequent statements in the Chinese media by former bureaucrats saying that the public should eat grass for a year, if necessary, to boost morale and weather the crisis, the impact of this nationalist rhetoric is waning as unemployment rises. Some may ask whether China has not already turned to domestic consumption. However, Xi Jinping does not seem to have embraced the consumption model as much as is believed. Exports are still the main source of foreign currency, and Trump's tariffs are crippling Beijing. The Chinese press labels Trump an unstable president and says he arbitrarily imposed a 145% tariff. However, the US side emphasizes issues such as the theft of American intellectual property, China's closure of its own market, while benefiting from free trade in Western markets, and currency manipulation. This means that ships departing from China are operating at half capacity. Freight rates have fallen from $7,000 to $8,000 to between $2,000 and $2,500. Shipping companies are now struggling with a vicious cycle of excess capacity and low demand. This means that the waters are seriously heating up in an industry that has been reporting big profits for a long time. The US is focused on shaking China's dominance in the global market and has imposed tariffs that will severely restrict imports. American companies are also looking to Vietnam, India, or even Mexico for production. Millions of dollars worth of orders expected from China are being cut off. As customs barriers rise, American consumers are not turning to relatively more expensive Chinese goods. And when combined with inflation and savings trends, demand for Chinese goods is suddenly plummeting. Now let's add giant companies to the mix.
Small businesses say they are being hurt by the Chinese tariffs, and some could be forced to shut down.
And many businesses are being helped.
Are you considering tariff relief for small businesses?
Why do you always mention that, you pick up a couple of little businesses? What about the car business? They're going to make a fortune because of the tariffs. Do you know that the union, the head of the union, who was no fan of mine, Sean Fain, I guess his name is, right? He didn't endorse me. The Teamsters did. A lot of people did. A lot of unions did. But he didn't. He couldn't stand me. Now he's saying, wow, what's Trump's done for the automobile? I can't believe it. I assume he's going to probably now say, the next thing he can say is, I endorse this guy. He's the greatest I've ever seen. He can't believe it's happened. He said, we've been waiting 40 years for somebody to do what Trump is doing. So why don't you mention the big car industry instead of mentioning somebody that's doing strollers?
Well, I'm just asking you about small businesses. Are there any discussions about giving any relief to small businesses?
9 tablets of one.
They're not going to need it.
Okay.
They're going to make so much money.
Are these tariffs?
If you build your product here. Remember, there are no tariffs if you build your product here. It's very easy. The word tariff, if you're talking about that, then we'd have to have 1 million or 2 million or 3 million trials. We have thousands of people that are some murderers and some drug dealers and some of the worst people on earth. Some of the worst, most dangerous people on earth. And I was elected to get them the hell out of here. And the courts are holding me from doing it. $160 billion worth of fraud, waste, and abuse. I mean, I think she's done an amazing job. I think his people have done an incredible job. They're brilliant people. They know the computer. I actually asked him, what's their big trait? He said they're unbelievable at computers. In other words, you can't fake them out because these people are, in many cases, crooks. But it was fraud, waste, and abuse. They found, your question should be asked a different way. Were certain things found? Yes. How much? $160 billion. Think of what $160 billion is. He found $160.
He said he'd find $2 trillion.
Well, we're not finished yet. Mm-hmm. We're not finished yet.
Do you think the work continues even though he's leaving? He said
sure. He's leaving behind some very brilliant people. Well, we're not finished yet. Mm-hmm. We're not finished yet.
Do you think the work continues even though he's leaving? He said
sure. He's leaving behind some very brilliant people. They were on television last night. They're super high IQ people. I like high IQ people. The Democrats don't have many of them.
Balls. That should be obvious. Why do they call you Big Balls?
I just said it as my LinkedIn username.
Okay.
Well, people on LinkedIn take themselves like super seriously, and they're pretty adverse to risk. And I was like, well, I want to be neither of those things. So I said it, and honestly, I didn't even think anyone would notice.
Yeah. So what do you LinkedIn do? Is so cringe. What does Big Balls do?
Right now, I'm working on some payment computer stuff. So one of our initiatives is to root out fraud and waste. And to do that, we started looking at the payment computers. And as mentioned earlier, like there is no accounting of what payments actually go to in the payment computer. So like you look at a specific line item, like $20 million, and you're like, okay, well, what is this money going to? And for the majority of payment systems, it's like, well, we don't really know. And
yeah, like what? That would be the response.
Is this the most basic responses?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the most common response.
What do you say when people just say, I don't know?
Well, it's a huge cause for concern because like the upstream thing, which is distributing the money, literally has no checks and no accountability to the actual American taxpayer. So it's a huge vector for fraud, waste, and abuse.
Do these people not respect taxpayer money?
I mean, there's no incentive to if you work in the government. I think the incentives will always decide the outcomes.
Yes.
Do you guys feel like you're putting yourself at risk by doing this because you're stirring up so much hostility by these people ripping us off?
100%. Well, we don't need to speculate about that. You can see online in the protests that they make that very clear. I mean, I've been hanged in effigy many times. And there have been people that have actively advocated at these violent protests for my death.
Make sure that I keep it short, but I am truly here for very selfish reasons. Starting with on March 29th, it's my birthday. And all I want to see happen on my birthday is for Elon to be taken down. Yes.
Elon Musk has got to go. Hey, hey. Elon Musk has got to go.
Musk lies, people die.
Musk lies,
people die.
So what are y'all doing here today?
We are here to protest Elon Musk.
We didn't vote for Elon Musk, and now he's the co-president.
He's out of control. He has no constitutional right to be doing what he's doing.
What's your sign say?
I am stealing from you. I feel like he's stealing our rights, our voice, our money. I'm 2 years away from collecting Social Security. I'm deathly afraid.
What's wrong with Elon Musk?
Yeah, well, first of all, he came here as an illegal alien, documented immigrants, first of all. Second of all, he's a fascist with Nazi salutes.
You see a lot of people around here saying that Elon Musk is a Nazi. Do you think that Elon Musk is a Nazi?
Well, I think that Elon Musk is showing us signs of being a Nazi.
Do you think Elon Musk is a Nazi?
Yes.
He's a fascist because he is blatantly trying to dismantle democracy in the U.S.
Are you concerned about waste, fraud, and abuse from the federal government?
Not particularly.
Yes, I am. And Elon is not the answer. It's got to be done intelligently. You can't just go in and take an axe to everything. They have given no proof of what fraud they had claimed.
Have you been on the Doge website to look at some of the waste, fraud, and abuse that they're trying to cut out?
No.
Why not?
Because I don't believe anything they would put out.
Have you always disliked Elon Musk?
No, I really thought he was great once. He was helping, he was against climate change.
I have two friends who own Teslas who have just gotten rid of them.
We're not protesting all electric vehicles. We're protesting Tesla, which is owned by a fascist man-child.
I'm not against anybody working in the showroom. They got to make a living. I get it.
Well, you can't make a living today. I mean, the showroom's shut down.
Does this qualify as First Amendment activity, shutting down a business 3 weeks in a row? Isn't this economic terrorism?
Yeah, that's a good point.
And who also advocated for the death of the people at Doge.
I think the young folks of us have gotten hate mail, threats from reporters and the public alike. I think, speaking for myself, I dropped out of Harvard and came here to serve my country. And it's been unfortunate to see, lost friendships. Most of campus hates me now. But I think fundamentally, I hope people realize through conversations like this that reform is genuinely needed. And if there's one, I think this is important to say, if there's one group of people who really have a shot of success, it's the people here. They're up until 2 a.m. Monday through Sunday. Doge does not recognize weekends. We're working all the time.
What inspired you to drop out of Harvard to do this?
There's a lot of reform that's needed. I think the value of this and the impact here is so much more vast than anything you could learn in a classroom doing computer science.
And you guys are sleeping here, I'm hearing. You guys are up all night. You have this meeting at 10 o'clock every Wednesday?
We'll probably go back to work right after this.
Yeah.
You're going back to work after this?
Yes.
Right.
It's almost 11 o'clock.
So that's early.
It's early? Can I go to bed? Incredible work ethic. You guys should be really, really proud of yourself. Do good people come up to you and say thank you for doing what you're doing?
Absolutely. There are people in the State Department that will stop you, or all of the agencies that we've been to, that'll stop you in the hallways or write emails and say, I was scared to write this, or I don't know if you're interested in this. But they usually have great ideas. And if they often have the best ideas because they've worked in the places and they've been stifled by the bureaucracy for so many years. So one of the great things that, at least in my experience, and we listen to them and empower them.
So yes, in fact, I'd like to emphasize that because we'd like to just give a big thank you to all the government employees who are helping reduce the waste and fraud, because this is, we really couldn't do it without you. So
it's a group effort.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm not trying to sort of say all government employees are bad. That's absolutely not the case. It's just that, there actually just does need to be a serious effort to reduce the waste and fraud. And we're just making it happen. And a lot of people in the government are very glad to see it happen.
I think it's really important to recognize every single person around this table that's embedded within an agency is supporting that agency, whether they're working on systems or working through people. We are encountering droves of government employees who are missionaries, not mercenaries, who are actually here serving because they believe in what they're doing. They want to do things here serving because they believe in what they're doing. They want to do things well. We are trying to empower them, and they feel empowered now to ask the question of why? Why aren't we doing this? What else can we be doing? How can we fix this? And I think agency by agency, it is filled with exceptional government employees, right? And when we give them the tools, when we give them the systems, and we leave behind systems to help them do their jobs better, that's the permanent change, right? And they're embracing that, not because it's new to them, it's because it's something they've always wanted to do. But for the first time ever, we're giving them the tools and the collaboration to be able to do that.
It's a very important message. Yeah. That message needs to get out a lot more. I'm so glad you said that.
We have exceptional people at all of our agencies. Exceptional. I mean, they do a thankless job and they work incredibly hard.
I love to hear how collaborative it is with these people in these agencies, and it's not all conflict. Sometimes in the media you always hear about conflict, and you guys are considered these ruthless suits that come in and scare people. But
conflict is the exception. There is conflict, but that is the exception. It's actually true of history in general. People study the wars a lot, but actually most of the time there wasn't war.
It's just not as exciting.
Right.
Whether they voted for me or not, I want to have a unified country. It's very hard because the media is so fake, including, like even the way you ask questions. Every question is asked in a negative vein. There's a toy company that took a toddler's, whatever, but you don't talk about the fact that gasoline is down at numbers that nobody believes possible. You know why they're down, by the way? Drill, baby, drill. We're drilling like crazy right now.
We try to make sure every question is fair, Mr. President.
Look, every question you ask says a very negative slant.
No, but look, I'm just curious.
I'm fine for responding to you. I don't think you're very difficult at all to respond to be honest with you. But you know what? You should ask some positive things like, sir, it's amazing what you've done with gasoline. Because you know what? Gasoline's big business. A stroller is not big business. You ought to look at Nancy Pelosi, and you ought to look at some of these politicians that are stone cold crooks. I was very wealthy when I came in. Being president, I probably cost me money if you really look. In fact, I do something that no other president has done. They think maybe George Washington has done. I contribute my entire salary to the government, but I've done something that surprisingly they say nobody else has done, no other president has done. And it's a substantial salary. It's like $500,000 a year or $550,000 a year, 4 years, a couple of $1 million. I gave it to the government last time. I never got a story saying I gave it. Nobody cared if I gave it. I guarantee if I didn't give it, there'd be a big story. But no other president, they say, with the possible exception of George Washington, and they haven't been able to find those records. And we've had wealthy presidents before, but no other president has contributed the salary. And they told me before this that you will probably be asking me whether or not I'm going to contribute my salary again, but you haven't asked that.
Are you going to?
Yes.
You are? Okay.
Yes, I am.
Okay.
Somebody got to get the award. And for what he's been through and what he's able to accomplish, I think that deserves like the man of the year. You know, especially representing New York, especially for guys like us that build these buildings all day out here. And he got us on his mind, you know. So Trump is the man, and I'm with that. So I got no problem with him being the man of the year. He could be the man of the year next year. He could be the man of the year 4 years in a row, if it don't big brother to me. Trump is good for me for 4 years, maybe 4 more years if he could. We haven't had a president that was more groundbreaking and more honest besides Reagan, to tell you the truth. Everybody else been playing games. They wasn't direct, and Trump is very direct. I think that's his biggest problem, that he's too direct. And I love it. New York, that's how we like it. We like direct stuff. We don't like sideways business. We like straight business. And Trump is a straight business person. That's professionally and personally.
About that. You know why? We subsidize Canada to the tune of $200 billion a year. We don't need their cars. In fact, we don't want their cars. We don't need their energy. We don't even want their energy. We have more than they do. We don't want their lumber. We have great lumber. All I have to do is free it up from the environmental lunatics. We don't need anything that they have. We're giving them. I asked Mr. Trudeau, who I call Governor Trudeau. I said, you know, not Prime Minister, Governor. I said, Governor Trudeau, could I ask you one question? Why are we giving you $200 billion? Why are we subsidizing Canada? If Canada was a state, it wouldn't cost us. It would be great. It would be such a great, it would be a cherished state. And if you look at our map, if you look at the geography, I'm a real estate guy at heart. When I look down at that, without that artificial line that was drawn with a ruler many years ago, it was just an artificial line, goes straight across. You don't even realize what a beautiful country it would be. It would be great. But I don't think the American public wants me to pay $200 billion a year to subsidize Canada. Again, remember this.
Yeah.
We don't need their cars. We don't need their lumber. We don't need their energy. We don't need anything. We do very little business with Canada. They do all of their business practically with us.
You and I.
They need us. We don't need them.
You and I.
No, I think we have a tremendous party. And you know what I can't name? I can't name one Democrat. I mean, I look at the Democrats. They're in total disarray. They have a new person named Crockett. I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person.
It's a cultural divide. I'm going to get it on the floor.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Then get on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like bust that on a beat, bro, any rap, he a freak, though, man down, call like Ember Lambs, tell him breathe, let them boys to the cross, they walk around like G's, what's up with these?
So it was her in Congress in Washington there with her homegirls, and they were dancing to Kendrick Lamar's Not Like Us right there in the hallways. They dancing and, you know, all that other stuff. She says the country is divided, so somebody's got to save it. And I guess it's going to be her, you know, her shaking a moneymaker and walking down the hall. I don't know. I don't even know what that's about. But again, they didn't learn from Kamala when she had Megan up there and Beyonce and Eminem and all those other people. Well, people don't want a concert, ma'am. They don't want symbolism. They want something that they can sink their teeth into. They want to see you actually work and not do dance routines in Congress. Enough of the foolishness. It's clownish behavior. First you're cussing, now you're dancing in Congress. What do you actually do, ma'am? Besides go back and forth there on the floor with Marjorie Taylor Greene and what else do you actually do? I don't know. I'm confused now. I see you do more of that stuff than what you actually are sent there to do.
It's a cultural divide. I'ma get it on the floor.
You really about to do it?
40 acres in the mule. This is bigger than the music.
You really about to do it?
Yeah, they tried to rig the game, but you can't fake influence.
Think it on it like that.
Hey, I'm tripping, I'm sliding, I'm riding through the back like buck. Must have on a beat, bro. Deep out in the rap. He a freak, throw man down. Call like Ember Lambs. Tell him breathe. Let him.
She's number one at being dumb, the new face of the DNC. Gather round, cause that's our Jazzy.
Coleman, you better stop. Scary. Oh, it's cold in here. I'm feeling goose nippy.
By the depths of Hades, what is that smell?
I gotta quit eating them pig's feet. My gas is kicking up. There's a man in my boudoir, and I feel vulnerable, and I'm almost naked up in here.
Fear not, my love. I have crossed oceans of time.
Jasmine Crocker crap. These black people simping for illegal aliens is insane to me. They go harder and they support Mexicans and illegals more than they do their own people. Show me legislation that Jasmine Crockett has gotten passed or that has fought harder for or proposed more so than illegal immigration. Something that would benefit black people. Show me the clip. You can't find it. Roll this clip.
And let me tell y'all what they just voted for. I want y'all to take a guess. Okay, y'all probably not gonna guess it because it don't make sense. But if you think of the most ridiculous thing that they could do, okay, I know that that's really hard too because everything that they do is quite ridiculous. But literally, they just voted. They being the other ones, not us, because we were all on the right side of history. They just voted to give Trump the ability, legally, to give him the ability to deport U.S. citizens. That is what they voted for. A bunch of elected U.S. representatives. That is how they voted. Am I telling a lie, Eric?
Please. Bitch, please.
That is how they voted. Am I telling a lie, Eric, or no?
No, I got my salad here. Mouthful. No. I'm stunned.
I'm not. But I'm glad that you... Oh, okay.
Well,
Eric been here longer than me, but like...
So what we said was, we even said, you know what, many of us will not offer any more amendments tonight. We won't vote for the overall bill. But if you agree to this, we'll drop any other amendments. We'll take the win that this would be in the bill, that you would agree U.S. citizens can't be deported. They voted to allow Donald Trump to deport U.S. citizens. And they did it during the week that we learned that a 4-year-old little girl fighting cancer, a U.S. citizen, has been deported, separated from her U.S. citizen father and her cancer treatment. So, yeah, it's kind of shocking.
Well, he's shocked. Y'all, listen now. I came in with nothing but fools. So he been here longer, so maybe he still has a little bit of shock in his life, but I don't personally. Because the fact is, we used to live in a world in which where we saw the news about that baby that got deported, the baby with cancer, because supposedly he the man that's all about the children with cancer, right?
All right,
like,
stop it.
That's why
I
he
can't
made sure one of his...
Whoa anymore. These people are so disingenuous, it's kind of insane to me. It's funny how when that young boy who was battling cancer and beat cancer, there was an honorary Secret Service member or whatever, I think it was something like that, that they couldn't even stand for him, and they have never posted about him, they never supported him, they never did anything. They never met his family, they never said anything to his family, they never did anything to help that American boy, young black boy who had cancer. They never did anything for him. All of a sudden, an illegal alien who had a child in America, the child gets deported accidentally or not, and they all simping for her. She has cancer. You know how many people in America have cancer that y'all effing over? But let's look at it for what it is. These things could happen, but that's not the intent of our government to deport little children. It is absolutely stupid. Let's look at the law. Here's some notes here. U.S. citizens is not a shield for breaker parents. Citizen rights for children remain fully protected, but parents who break the law cannot expect immunity from enforcement. That means if you broke the law and you committed crimes and you had a baby here, you can't be absolved from being prosecuted against the law. Because I hope every lawmaker who did this burn in hell. I know it's extreme, but I'm sick of these people. They created so much problems for us, and they never had to do it in the first place. You shouldn't be able to come to America and have a baby here, and somehow that baby become an American citizen, and you're now stuck here for life. Because what do people do? They come here and they know, I gotta have a baby, I gotta have a baby. But the mother don't have no money, and they don't have no stability, but they go to the hospital and have a baby for free. But you finna pay a couple $100,000 to have your baby, or you finna get hit on your insurance to have your baby, but they come over and have as many babies as they want to and don't take care of them for free. So the government is saying you are not protected, because if you came over here illegally, they're going to send you back, and you can't just get absolved because that's a workaround of our laws.
So, what do all these home buyers...
I watched her speak the other day. She's definitely a low IQ person. And they said, she's the future of the party. I said, you have to be kidding. I don't know what they're going to do. And I really believe in a two-party system. Because it's good to be challenged. It's really good to have a two-party. You know, it's good. Being challenged is okay. It keeps you sharp. I don't know what they're going to do. They have nobody. Bernie's 87 years old or I don't know what they're going to do. They have nobody. Bernie's 87 years old or something. And you know, Biden is the worst thing that ever happened to old people, because he was grossly incompetent. And I think maybe for artificial reasons. You know, he had operations and things. So maybe that's an artificial. But I know people that are unbelievably sharp, and they're older than 87. But I watch Bernie Sanders. He's a nut job, but he's still sharp. He's sharp as he's the same guy he was. He hasn't gone down. But Biden is really, he's the worst thing to happen to old people.